while I often talk about functionality when it comes to training the glutes, what if you just want to build a big booty? Well, gait-based exercises still have an advantage over traditional methods, and I'm going to explain why in this video. So first of all, building size often depends on the range of motion through which you have tension. That's the key point. If we think about a bicep curl, if you lean forward at the end of a bicep curl, in this fully flexed position, you've still got tension on the bicep to hold the weight in that position. If you see a gym bro going too heavy with his curls, they're going to lean back and they're going to support the weight through a stacked vertical structure of their forearm, and you can hang out here with no tension on the bicep at all. Squats are kind of the same in the sense that by the time you're anywhere near lockout, you're supporting the weight through your vertical structure and there's no real tension on the glutes. You can hang out with your 1 rep max on your back until your breathing gives out, rather than your glutes reach mechanical failure. So this comes down to force vectors. With traditional methods, it's straight up and down, it's a vertical force vector. In sprinting, it's a horizontal force vector, which means that if you use a gait-based exercise, you have tension coming horizontally and you can load the glutes maximally at that full extension position. So as a quick example, if I step into the band and I perform some kind of lunge, here I've still got maximum tension on the glute even at full extension, which you cannot achieve with a squat. So what about a hip thruster? So the other big traditional booty building method. Well, yes, it trains the glutes at full extension better than a squat, but there's a few things missing from that exercise that means you don't take the glute through its full range of muscle activities. So first of all, you're on 2 feet, which means that you cannot access a hyperextension range. If you hyperextend from a bilateral stance, you're just going to load your lower back. If you load it from a unilateral stance, you can get the full range on the glute, the full range on the hip flexor as well, and you can keep a neutral spine and a neutral pelvis. So that's an added benefit to the exercise. It's no wonder people have tight hip flexors. It's not just from sitting in the car or at the desk all day, but if you're not taking that muscle through a full range, it's going to get tight eventually. So 2 other factors with the hip thrust: you never straighten the knees and you don't get any pelvic rotation. Now, you may not automatically think of those things as glute-based. You may think of them sort of being to do with the quads. But actually, if we set up an exercise, you can see that the glute's role in knee extension is vital for full hip extension. So here's the setup. You take the band. I'm going to row it back on this side, and on the same side, I'm going to pull my knee up into a march here. So straight away, I've got tension on the glutes. If I want to exacerbate that tension, I'm going to pull harder on the band to rotate my ribs, and I'm going to drive this knee forward and get pelvic rotation. Here I've got an incredibly strong squeeze of the glutes, but if I want to compensate for that and I want to reduce tension on my glutes, then all I need to do is bend the knee. So even though I'm keeping the same hip angle, the same amount of hip extension, just by unlocking the knee, I've lost the tension on the glute. So those are the benefits. You're going to get a fuller range, a fuller access to the more muscle actions that the glute are involved in. And also, if we go back to functionality, when do you want your glute to be maximally active to provide the most impulse? It's at extension. It's when that foot is striking underneath your body to propel you into gait. And if you're jumping or throwing, it's at that full extension position to launch the movement. So it's all well and good training it at that fully flexed position. You need to train the glutes at extension to get the full range of that muscle's ability.